it out with the outcasts, with you know, terminal illnesses and the side hustle of a lifetime. Set ourselves back several thousand times and burning people's lives up into a crisp before they know it. But yeah, we're here, understanding the power control and understanding the nonsense that's really, you know, hurt my chances at a career depending on these circumstances I will be put in later on in my lifetime here. However, To Kill a Mockingbird was one of the main books that I think was read by another set of students. I've seen it, but I don't know what was going on with that, right? And then you have kind of these curriculum shifts that kind of allow students to understand certain things. They start understanding things within school, and then you start get growing out, understand the world around you because of how ridiculous shit is. So some of it could benefit you, some of it could cripple you a little bit. Just depends on what's going on, you know. It's just some people don't um exactly know what is going on here. But, you know, it just gets to the point where if you're in the Board of Education, you have, you know, to develop things like a curriculum. You kind of see where I'm heading with this. Some people don't. That's okay. That's all right. Don't worry about it. But just hitting the nail on the head with a lot of these things. So what people know of and how people know of it later on in life, well, something happens, you'll start reflecting on what's known and what's unknown. Um, a lot of the things that you start seeing will kind of assist you in life to a degree. Some things might even hurt you, depending on what's going on. But it all depends on somebody's predicted path. There's never one thing that is certain, too. So it just gets to the point you start seeing what things are all about. You don't get taught these things, but you kind of teach yourself and then you understand them. Personally, I haven't killed any animals over here. I haven't killed a coyote. I haven't killed anything. I didn't even actually get I didn't actually get a firearm. Uh, mainly because well, not gonna lie to you, I'm not ready. But I still got a couple clicks to the boom to make sure I'm set to go. Got a Need an understanding of indexing and twitches, muscle movements, things like that. Still got to kind of figure out what's controlling what in my body and why things happen like that. But I'm setting aside some time to understand the physical functions of the body. I'm not like alarmed when certain things happen. What happens in Conquest Forever? Try this out. Yeah, I'm starting to see the purpose in life, how things would be, how things are. Um, I like experimenting with the mind itself, but within a more natural sense, like no drug experimentation, obviously, but you see the purpose. Minimal drug experimentation, actually. Marijuana was one, and you know, takes a minute to get a good flow in that. So, but yeah, it's not gonna exempt me from living life or anything. It's just how would I describe my experiences? You don't know what your body's capable of doing, and it's just gonna start doing it, and you're not really used to the functions within it. You know, it could be a horrible experience sometimes. You could smoke weed and see the world change different colors. You could, and you gotta understand, you gotta understand eye pressure. You gotta understand what liquids are currently stored in your body. You gotta understand drainage. You also gotta understand what's getting to your head, you know? So, like, a lot of the things, um, I'd probably warn somebody about that's new to marijuana is kind of that. You could forget what's going. I mean, forgetting that's memory loss is a pretty big thing. You got to kind of understand your fluids within in order to sustain decent high, and you got to kind of feel yourself out, and you got to kind of know what's going on. You can't just smoke weed and be okay with weed. Some people can because like, oh, this is cool, this is the desired effect, and you get a different strain, which kind of guides you through it, and then you think it's different, and sometimes it's all based on what the fuck you're doing, man. Like somebody could say some shit like that. If you don't know jack diddly of shit about your body, man, you're not really fucking making out to be the guy to talk to because you're saying it's a different strain when it's not. Like I got fucking 3 or 4 different highs off of the same joint, same strain, same everything. Just different fluid fluctuations, different this, different that. Like, depending on what your body's doing, man. Like, you got to kind of be aware of yourself in order to be safe. So that's pretty much it. I'm typically a nice guy. I'm a lot nicer than people think. It's just circumstantially, I'm you know, getting to a point here. And I'm like, putting a pause on the idea of what the hell is happening here. Well, and for those who have supported me through this endeavor, thank you very much. Those who are kind of rising against it in subtle terms and understandings. That's like, yo, you get out of here before I fucking punch you in the fucking face. Kind of a warning here, but hmm. I'm not ready for certain things. I'm definitely destined to understand myself and what I want to do. And I'm seeing like I just need to settle down and not be like trapped in this kind of thing, but maybe see the point of what certain things could be, depending on what kind of realistic circumstances somebody who was unaware of that was willing to do something like drugs, like certain drugs, like cocaine or something like that. Like I'm not very familiar with it because I never did it, never have done it. So I'm kind of sitting here on the other side of it, like, is this the time to do it? Is this why I'm getting bothered? Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I'm not sure how fucked up gets when fucked up gets fucked up. I'm kind of looking into documenting some experiences with just marijuana alone, but at the same time, it's just how the body functions in fluid fluctuations. And I'm uncertain of how a drug like cocaine would kind of be like that. It's kind of like one of those things where I'm uncertain. Some other people might have a shit ton of cocaine knowledge. We're talking like we got guys that go through ups and downs, man. Like when you have that kind of experience, well, it's most likely to be shared. The experience documented, maybe talked about every now and again, especially from a guy who does this stuff. I mean, it's like, dude, it turns into this, or if you do it at this time, this happens. Like drug experimentation is a very common thing in life, especially with alcohol. That's another one that happens. But you're seeing, marijuana and alcohol being the main things that are kind of like being used. So some people know what they got going on, some people don't. You just got to kind of look at it the right way. You just got to run the right route. I don't think everything's going to be like ruining your life at all in one point because it's just like it takes a lot of time to burn yourself out because of what the hell is going on here. It's not. Got to take things one step at a time. Everybody kind of set the stage and they just. When you're seeing the purpose, it does make sense when you actually understand it. But I'll be telling you, I mean, this is how fucked up gets when fucked up gets fucked up. This is a very understood outcome by a lot of people, though. So people are doing as they were going to do to begin with. There was really no setup behind it when, right, when it kind of went for like the idea of what Dare truly was, when I was a kid. It's just one of those follow up things they knew was going to happen. And they're like, all right, at some point something's going to happen. And then, oh, you go through it, you scare yourself out of it, or you're mentally fucked up for however fucking long, whatever. But maybe this was part of it. I didn't know. I wasn't completely familiar with, the death certificate I almost achieved, but apparently it had something to do with it. Yeah, yeah, I was, I think I got it. I got it down, man. I think it's getting a lot better. I'm trying not to be so poppy around people, but it's just like, goddamn. Huh. I'm gonna explain it one more time. I'm friendly with some people and I'm not friendly with most. I'm just kind of there, just making sure I know what they're talking about before they're trying to pull a fast one on me. Mountain Lion? They're in Connecticut too?
They can kill you too.
All right,
You should never run away if
if you know what you're doing. Wouldn't.
they can attack you. If you run, they're gonna attack
Oh, it depends on. I mean, I heard of attacks with those cats, but like,
you.
I got
They
so
can
close.
run.
I got so
They can
close to that
run.
fucking
They're fine.
lynch, man. It's not funny. He didn't jump out of the bush or anything. He just didn't want to fuck around with me. You
When you're
feel
looking at him, he looks
that's
at me, and then
my vibe is he just doesn't want to mess around. You
no,
feel
he
that shit.
ran and out. They are.
Makes him think twice.
But they, they sprint. Mm.
Sure.
Mm.
All right. All right. Those are pretty good. All right. Hmm.
Mm.
I go through a lot of crap, man. Or get to the point where I'm at, man. I'm just really, really one of those times where I don't know what the hell's gonna happen here.
When you talk about right there, it
Yeah,
podcast links,
I went
link,
fucking
the link,
bananas.
proof of such a tool.
Uh, yeah,
Species of podcast meeting.
I don't know what people are doing.
They're
I
just
don't
following
really
the
talk to
same
anybody,
pattern.
so that's what the problem is with these patterns. Sets me back in life sometimes. See what happens though. They're probably just gonna throw me in, Hitler's Dutch oven one more time so I could do some more mental studies.
Definitely saw something up there with that area. Just saw something real quick. Just,
I gotta be sitting there bullshitting to do it though. Ugh. You're fucking figuring out what the hell's going on, how to work it.
uh, you think we have here.
And people are like sensitive within a reason, so I'm just starting to see all this thing.
I mean, it's just
Hmm.
I've seen rabbits around here.
Yeah, oh, bobcats are nice.
Mm,
They're nice animals usually.
they, like I said, they only eat rabbits. The diet is rabbits,
Like
rodents.
rabbits' hairs are kind of both, basically. They're just a collective rabbit family. When it comes down to hairs, there's a lot of.
Look kind of cute, but
It's-
and
I know a lot of bobcats. Yeah, I like the bobcats though. Yeah, they're really nice.
well, I don't think nice.
No, yeah, they are.
Uh,
They wouldn't do anything to hurt you. I mean, like if you're walking through like a trail or something, they'll usually run away. They're not really trying to look to hurt you or do anything, but you still gotta, you know,
yeah,
yeah. So I wanted to like jump off the ledge one time, and I kind of walked around where he jumped off because I didn't know where he landed, and I wasn't chancing my ass over it. Like I'm not, waiting for him to jump back up. I'm not trying to get curious or anything on him. As long as you don't get curious on those animals, you're pretty much fine. You know how to mind your business. You aren't going to get whacked. You're fine.
You don't want to mess
Some people are stupid enough to just, wow. Yeah. Yep. No, I'm not. Yeah. When I got hit, man, if I ever actually I had two pretty rough encounters, but if I would have got hit by that lynx, I would have had it worse than anything. Like got my jugular or something. Like took that whole entire thing out, probably would have bled out. These animals are very tactical and very strategic. They kill a lot of things. They even go after deer. So it's still
it's
extremely
kind of weird.
quick. So they already know what they're going to do before they even do it. Well, they have wolves and they have police dogs too.
That was the
Yeah, there's a lot of police dogs that hunt with the wolves and coyotes too. So yeah, happens. Seen a big wolf when I was walking the trail, or not the trail, but over down in Mansfield. Saw a big one trotting across the field where the little airplane place. Yeah,
with
yeah,
the wood.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. He's still alive too. Like what? That was like 8 years ago or some shit or something. Some crazy amount of time ago.
One of these.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
He's a big
So
wolf, man. He's really big.
that I can
I
see
know he is
one out.
huge.
So
Yeah.
I saw one earlier, but now it's mm. So how did I know that? We just looked at me one way.
All right. So sometimes.
Yeah,
All right.
eagles,
But there
gray
was that. That was part of my what what happened here. It's like sometimes you got there's situations that happen, but they do it the right way. Hmm. And sometimes it's
so one of
agencies see that too. So
they howl. I heard them howling.
sometimes you gotta get. Yep, 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 yep.
Now, I,
Yeah, I don't have a lot of problems with animals. So some of these animals have illegal activities and stuff that kind of happen too. So you got to kind of watch out for them, especially with certain wolves in Connecticut. Like I actually seen some things that were going on, so I kind of knew, but I wasn't certain. But once you kind of get to the point, it you start understanding that things happen and they have human interaction sometimes. Oftentimes it is illegal because of the way the animals are, and it's
Yeah,
yeah, right, yeah, of course, of course,
across the street
yeah,
or
yeah.
walk.
No, they're very nice animals though.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not really that
That's good.
much. That's false information.
Yeah,
Not eat less. Yeah,
but you understand.
yeah. During the summer they could. It just depends on how cool they keep their bodies, and they control their shit a certain way, so they might not actually have to eat that much more. Going down to wolves and coyotes and stuff like that, that's exactly how they actually are. And their shit schedule is controlled. And they hold their shit in too, so they're very familiar with their bodies. Water intake is sometimes minimum, like it's just to maintain what they have in their stomachs. That's it. They're not gonna like eat every single day, and they know that. That's why they would maintain their bodies that way.
Yeah, around, visit a little bit. They're not really far. Or at least I know now what's going on. During the winter, is that was a that was a big. one. Oh, that.
Oh yeah, these things are fucking huge. I mean, the one that's around here, yeah, he's a big one. Nah,
He's big.
nah, he's a little bigger.
Why I saw one.
I love animals like this. I mean, bears are so fucking awesome. Oh yeah, there you go. Also, like the one in Mansfield, the way it's first colored.
Yeah. I mean, they have. Mm, I was shocked. I had to like look at your dad. Big during the day. You,
Yep. Yeah, considering I don't mess with those animals. I'm usually pretty cool with everything, and they're really nice with me. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't really need it.
mm. Well, I mean, if you're going out in the woods,
That depends on what they're doing to it. Sometimes it's just, but they're very calculated animals. They're not stupid animals.
but how did they get from? That's a good question. Or did they bring it?
No, they were always around. It's just, people
Nobody
are
knew
starting to
about.
fucking bother them, and,
Yeah,
it just gets to the fucking point. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
going
Pretty much it.
suspect.
Fucking
They
driving us
will.
to the point where they don't even want to, even the Wyndham Heights, they have a bear over there. I don't know where he was at and where he was hiding, but I didn't want to tell anybody. I just didn't know he was there. Unfortunately,
Mm,
like to ward you off, they end up damaging property and
Yeah.
objects and stuff like that because they're trying to ward you off because they just want to pass through and they don't want to be seen. But thing ended up, you know, whacking something, and I couldn't really. I had to leave immediately, so no further damage was done. You got to be quick though, because you don't really get a warning from them. That's really it. If you don't know what the hell it is, you're just gonna hear a whole bunch of fucking noise and not know what to do. And it's kind of funny how everyone acted like I didn't exist up until a certain point, and next thing you know, there he is. We knew he existed. I'm like, "God, get away from me! Holy fucking shit! You're doing all the harm in the universe. What's going on right now?" You know. Well, thank God it screwed me up, and not my whole entire life. I mean, that's a pretty good pattern, right? That's good to look at.
Well, I thought I
Fuck it.
was.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, once I start seeing, yeah, let's talk about the crazy shit here. Like man-made patterns, and then, um, yeah, seeing man-made patterns does kind of alert me here, and I'm like, yeah, and then I see, I don't know, maybe I drank a little bit. I mean, I did have a drink. I drank an energy drink, so that sometimes happens. But I see man-made patterns, and then I see the real thing, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I took a sip too much of my monster or something. Right time every time. Yeah, the pattern. It's sometimes it's numbers, and sometimes it's I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm just. It's just the blood pressure when it hits a certain point. I I just I don't know. I tend to lose control of myself, and kind of I am neurotic as fucking hell. So it is. I'm trying to be patient with myself here and understand what I was looking at, and some things were man-made and some things were not. Some things are already there, and like you gotta just kind of, I think there's something to it, but I don't know. It's just the way it happened wasn't how I thought. I just kind of looked at it and I was just like, I freaked out just a little bit. Like I thought I was in trouble for a second because I was just like, I'm just, yeah, it's pretty dead. Yeah, yeah, very very dead. Sometimes I could find a game in like 2 seconds, man, but other times I'm just, this is bad. This is really bad. We could try to leave this game real quick, and we could probably jump into something. But yeah, no, it's just like I don't know, something weird's happening, and it just I wouldn't, I would, I mean, I didn't play a part
I got
in,
a job to do.
um, I didn't do anything. I just seen things. I don't know. It's like it's weird. Like something happens, and then I don't know. I'm not really familiar with what I'm looking at right now. So uh trying to see I see there's something to it. There's a lot of drugs. It's usually what they called it, and then he described it in a classroom, right? And he's like, "Oh, you got to be afraid of the patterns," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, sort of." I mean, if you've seen something or I don't know, man. It's these interviews are getting interesting. So some of these things, it just I don't know. There's like a lot of uh patterns going on,
Yeah, you gotta go read
and some things I recognize, like the wait, I had like two interviews for Amazon.
stuff.
Mhm. One of them was right. Yeah, well, one of them was actually over at a place, and then I looked at it, and I'm like sitting there looking at what was going on, and I'm like,
They did it to me when
I
I
don't
first
know, it's just something went wrong, and somebody was. I mean, you got to kind of be careful because you don't know. It's kind of weird, but it just you got to be you
yeah,
got
yeah,
right. You got to know the difference between what you're looking at and what's but sometimes you can't because of how the blood pressure or your thoughts are affected, and you just kind of gotta.
right.
Right, you got to
To
relax and just look at things
yeah,
the right way
yeah,
and how a lot of these things are, and so some people think they have magical powers, right? and then they're kind of like stuck in the conundrum where like, yo, I could get myself out of anything and they feel invincible. I'm not that guy. So, um, I wouldn't plan on getting into any trouble. It's just with some of these people, they already did something and they swear to God they could take on anything. And these people are fucking out of their minds, right? I'm sitting there at this last interview and I'm looking around the room. I'm seeing the patterns line up again, and I'm just like, dude, I'm just not feeling very invincible. And I was luckily in the pattern. I think I identified as a bear, but right, I was just kind of sitting there, and then everything else was just fucked up. And I'm like looking at everything, and I'm looking at everybody, and I'm like, all right, we're almost like I'm like fucking freaking out. I'm like, all right, I know what I'm looking at, and I'm like, whoa. All right, so if I felt superhuman right now, I'd be doing something stupid because I think I'm in you know, right, because your mind plays it, you know, it's you're basically toying with sanity itself when you believe you can do something. It's almost like the Thomas the Tank Engine, the I think I can movement, right? And then you know and then they just it, they flip the script on you and then you're fucked. There's no magic I get away with everything type of thing going on. There's no such thing as that. That's not fucking happening. Okay, I I, I can't like compose the argument any greater than that. It's not like, oh, well, I could just sell drugs or sling bales of cocaine or do that. Like I could do this and we'll be all set. No problem. I'm a millionaire because of it. It's like that's like the gangster's philosophy right there, man. I'm living the fucking dream. I'm living the high life if I could pull that shit off, but I don't think so. I'm sitting in the middle of it. I'm like, shit, maybe something's going on. It's just, I'm starting to look at things a certain way, and I'm like, man, I don't know, man, maybe I'm imagining things, but I didn't do it. I didn't fucking do it. I didn't do it. I know I didn't do it. It's just when I started looking at it and I seen it, I'm like, well, that's what I thought, but what's the actuality? What happened? I mean, obviously it wasn't my fucking, but like when the patterns like spread out, like kind of like how do you? How, I'm staring into the fucking, I'm just, yeah, I'm just staring at ass, man. Like I'm just trying to figure it out though. Like why? I don't just stare at butt at all for any reason whatsoever. So I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I'm trying to, you know, my brain, I'm just not wired like that. So I'm like trying to figure out why. I'm like, all right, so I got this, yeah, and I'm trying to like look at it. Yeah, it's a shift for 5,000. Yeah, that shit does get a little crazy though. Right, but I kind of look like an asshole. So that was really all it was. That's it. Right, no. But like I kind of mentally comboggle myself, and I'm like kind of looking at it, and I understand what it. No, like a literal human anus, like a government certified human anus. So I think that is who I am right now. So I'm a bear, but I'm an asshole. And there was like a big thing that I remember when I was a kid, so I'm using that to understand what I'm about here. So it's like I'm full of shit and full of confidence. That's really it. But then you look at the problem, and it's like I have a lot of white stuff in me too. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I am an asshole. That really is it. I'm an asshole. Well, when I'm blowing my fucking nose and shit like that, I'm kind of clearing out. But if I'm an asshole, I'll be okay. Yeah, the government's
Well,
gonna love me later when I figure out what the hell's actually happening. But I have this twisted, this synchronicity within human conundrums and butthole, and I'm just staring into the obvious. And then what happened? And I'm like, something happened with a butthole. I am a butthole. I drank enough to get a lot of the sugars out. Um, got the white stuff coming out of my nose. I'm an asshole, but a fucked up asshole. That would have been it. Maybe that was a problem. That was it. When you stick it in her butthole, she starts yapping. That was it. Maybe that was it. And you don't know why. When I look at her, man, I was looking at her ass for like a minute. So I'm like, I was trying to figure out if she knew what she was doing, how she built it. She made it come out. She did this, she did that, she did this. She knew what she was doing. She knew how to position everything, and that's why you're checking it out. Like not to like I'm just inspecting the butt. Like I'm not in the butt. I'm just part. I'm an anus. I'm just here. It's not foul play. I'm just looking at what's going on, making sure I know what's going on. But I'm kind of I'm senseless. But then you look at how it's built, and now I think I might have it. I'm becoming slightly more sensible though. That's a problem too. It's just like how these women build their bodies and stuff, and you got to figure out how. And I'm like looking at. Oh hey, we're in. Oh yeah. But I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right thing or the wrong thing, and I'm not really relying on patterns or anything like that. I just kind of notice them here and there, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyways, you gotta be careful of man-made patterns, and you gotta do the right thing with yourself, and you see the purpose. As I was saying, so I was staring into the ass of the chosen one, and I was understanding it. And now I'm looking at it. Am I sensible? Could I feel certain things? Am I starting to feel certain things? And then you're just kind of like, coming up with this corrupt conundrum, right? can't, would this girl be able to feel a dick inside of herself with an ass like that? And it's not like I'm trying to, right, I'm not just being, I'm being more literal, like within the senses, physically sensitive to human touch. Right. So sorry to be so explicit, but it's now we're getting to the point where women grow this part or grow that out or do this or do that, and they're still trying to refine their senses. Well, let me tell you what, let me tell you one thing about Mandy Muse. That thing is looking good. Oh yeah. And you got to understand how it forms. So I'm not, and then I look at certain ass shapes and I'm looking at the density of the fat that is used in order to sculpt the perfect ass. Then I'm looking at the heat that's drawn to the body that creates the sensitivity around, well, the vaginal area, the penile area, the anus. Those things are put into an understanding, right? And depending on how the ass is, right? And depending on what's, that you lack certain sensitive portions that because of how you build it. Kind of fragment it a little bit and try to understand a little bit more. And sometimes you bias your life off of your sex life. But when you look at an ass, when you're this sensitive, you could bias it on this or that or this or that, right? It's just a main physical sensation that you're molding together. But sexual activities, increasing sex drive, it depends on how things are, right? You got to understand compatible mating and compatible individuals. I mean, it doesn't, it's a little bit more there's a lot more understanding to it. So she could have a fat ass, and this guy could have a large disco stick, and they could have a great time together, but within a density and this or that, or, whatever the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you got to kind of like look at it, the male sex drive. If this thing's not going up, nothing's happening. Okay. Just bear with me here. What the diet is in order to build the perfect ass, what their senses are like, how their senses are, how they work things out the right way, how to sculpt, and at what point in time is the sculpting phase bound to happen, you know? Then you have to understand hyperthermia, hypothermia. So it's not just, oh, when I'm ready to grow an asshole, I'll grow an asshole, just pop out by itself. You have to understand where your sugars are, where the bindings are at, how to fucking lift up all that shit. Some girls, you know, they fuck it out or this or you got a whole bunch of fairy tales roaming around, kind of running amok within building an ass in general. And some bitches just outright just get fat and try to, you know, work angles that are they're trying to work the body or work this angle. They got everything sort of kind of done and composed, and it's kind of like a snowball right there. It's like this is a rough draft of this is what it should look like, and this is a rough draft of what I got right now, and I'm trying to figure out hypothermia and hyperthermia, the cooling, and right. So you've got to understand how to control your diet, work the fats around, control your digestive tract down to the T in order to get an ass like this. You feel me? You understand core temperature, limb temperature, and everything in between. The central part of your body is always going to have the most heat to it. Your heart's pumping. There's a lot of friction. But there's gunk. And where there's gunk, there could be, like you got to understand how to, like, again, you got to make it happen. You got to understand all that stuff. So that's why I look at ass shape, look at the legs, look at what's going on, look at how they did it, how they wanted to do it, how it was done. I'm paying attention. I'm not just thinking with my penis right now. I'm understanding. All I'm going to tell you is I'm not going to be growing any tits. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. None of that's going to be happening here. I'm the odd man out. There are not enough fat reserves within my body and or where they should be in order for this to occur. I cannot grow boobs. Meanwhile, steady flow, cooling. You gotta kind of keep track of certain things, the way they function. You start growing out like this or grow out like that, and you gotta understand how your skin. Like, there's a lot of work a woman needs to do in order to make sure she builds the perfect form. There's a lot of work that's put into it. There's a lot of work. So, yeah, it's so fucking just talking about growing an ass and titties and shit, and nothing's happening. God damn, man.